Hey guys, this is Eskimo Poodle, and we are back to Let's Play Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch on the Sony PlayStation 3. Last time, we run around for a couple hours trying to catch a banana in order to... Wait, was that last episode, or was that the episode before? Well, last episode, we either tried to catch a banana, or we ran around town doing side quests. It was one of the two. It was sometime after beating the boss of Old Smoky up on top of the volcano, and now our goal is to head to Castaway Cove, which, can we get out to the main map? No? I guess we can't get out to the main map from here, but it's, well, to the north of Ouroboros here. And last episode, or some episode ago, I promised that I would be giving overviews of the familiars that we have, whether or not they're useful or not useful, stuff like that. So, well, we might as well actually get that out of the way. The way I'm going to do this is we're just going to go into the telling stone here, and we're going to... Basically, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to go through and talk about all the ones that we've encountered so far, whether in the wild or if we've caught them. Basically, if you see them up on the telling stone here, it means you've probably had a chance to catch them already by going back and, by going back to the area that they appeared in. So, if you find something you like, we can go get it. So, I'm just going to go ahead and go through all of them. I'm not going to go through, like, Might and then Mighty Might. I'm going to just condense Mighty Might into the Might like that. So, I'm not going to double dip or anything like that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started while we're here. Let's see. First off, we got the little bighorn. He's not too bad, actually. He's a little slower than the Might. This guy right here. He's a little slower, like, movement speed-wise, but he's got the same general attack speed, and he's also got a higher attack to use it with. So he's not too bad. He's also got a much better defense, and let's see, what else has he got? A much better special attack. So he can actually use some pretty good abilities here. I mean, he's not going to be doing mad damage with special attacks, but he's going to be doing a whole lot more with the special attacks than the Might will. So, and he also uses the same equipment, shields, swords, and patches. So he's not too bad. He'll eventually become, in his third form, he'll be about as fast as the Might in his first or second form, but he'll have the same attack power as pretty much all the other forms. So he's not too bad. I'd say this guy is worth it, actually. Plus, he looks kind of cool, too. I like the horns on the side. Alright. As for the Might, the one that we're currently in charge of, he's decent because you get him for free throughout the game, but he's not really worth it towards the end of the game because his stats just do not get that good, like, at all. Oh, yeah, something else I forgot to mention about the, the little bighorn. He has mainly... Hang on. He has more single-target attacks than he has multi-target attacks. He has a couple, but those are all in his, like, third form. So he has some good single-target attacks for, like, bosses, but if you're up against a group of enemies, he doesn't have anything like cut loose until you get to his third form. So you got to keep that in mind. Anyways, back to the Might. Like I said, he's not really all that great because he just has low stats. I mean, his highest stat is his accuracy, and even that's not really all that great. I mean, he does have a pretty good miracle move, and he does have, the cut loose ability, but he can't really use any of his, like, fire attacks that he gets because he doesn't have a good magic attack to, well, complement to them. The bighorn, on the other hand, he does. I mean, yeah, you can equip daggers on this guy to increase his magic attack, but you can also equip daggers on this guy to increase his magic attack. So I'd say, overall, the little bighorn is probably more worth it in the long run than the Might, simply for the fact that, well, the little bighorn's just better. That's not to say I'm going to drop the Might, like, straight up. I'll probably use the Might for a little bit just for, well, just because I'm the type of guy that likes to stick with the starter Pokemon throughout the game. I mean, eventually I'll drop them off once they start really losing their usefulness, but I'll keep them for a little while. I'll probably drop them before the end of the game, though, at least. But I'll at least get him to his third form. But anyways, that's it for the Might family here. And let's go check out the Beastie family here, which is next in line. Alright. And first off, we got the Ruffs here. The Ruffs are okay. They got a pretty good movement speed, as you've seen. They've got an average attack speed, a 3-star attack speed, so it's not bad. But they do also have a pretty decent attack rating of, let's see, in third form, about 270 to 280, so that's not too bad. And they also have almost 200 in the magical attack too. So again, they can do pretty good damage with their magical attacks and their physical attacks. They're not going to be attacking super fast because they're 3 stars, but about as fast as like the Might. So they're not bad. But there's just plenty of better familiars out there, anyways. I mean, if you want to use him, yeah, he's perfectly usable. There's just better out there. All right, next one, the Rhino store here. He's probably not worth it that much. He's got a little higher attack than what the Ruff will max out at, but he doesn't have very much speed, whether movement wise or attack wise. I mean, he has a 2-star for both of those, so that's pretty slow. I mean, he'll do decent damage when he hits, but he'll have an attack cycle of like 3 attacks, whereas someone like the Ruff or someone like the Lemur will have an attack cycle of like 4 or 5 attacks, or like 6 attacks respectively. So it's just it doesn't have that many attacks. I mean, he has good attack, he has good defense, he actually has pretty good magical attack, about 210 to 230. So stats wise, he's good, but just the speed of the attacks isn't all that great. So if you can get over his slow attacking speed, yeah, go for it. He's pretty good. But if you can't get over the slow attacking speed and the slow running around speed, then you might want to look for somebody else. But he's not bad, just not great. Anyways, let's see. We got the Jabber, who isn't too bad. He's actually pretty balanced in his stats. He's got a slightly higher magical attack than physical attack, but they're both over 240 in the final form, so that's not too bad. And he's got pretty decent defenses too, so he's pretty good. I'd say he's reasonably worth it, at least for the early games. At least he'll eventually have a 4 movement speed, so he runs around pretty fast, and then a 3 attack speed, so he'll attack averagely. It's nothing great, but he's tolerable. I'd say you could probably replace the Might with this guy, and probably do a little better with him than you would with the Might. I mean, he's just a little better. That's all it is. The Might just doesn't have great stats. That's all it is. I mean, yeah, he's fun to use at first, but he just gets outclassed. Anyways, enough bashing on the poor little Might there. Let's go to the next guy, the Sheep. Alright, let's see. We got Bartender. Let's see, what are you? He's another one that's not too horrible. He can have pretty good stats overall, actually. He's kind of a supporter, though. He has well, maybe not a lot, but he has like attacks that can put people to sleep, stuff like that. That's what I've been forgetting. I've been forgetting to say if they have like support attacks, stuff like that. Hang on. Let's see, the Jabber. He has. Is that a revive move? Hang on. Sorry about this. I don't think that's a. Oh no, the Jabber has a speed increasing move. Okay, for some reason I thought it was a revive. He has a speed increasing move and some fire moves, and actually no, fire and storm moves actually. So he's not too bad with that. The Rhino Boar, he just has pretty much physical attacks, so he's just physical based, I guess. Let's see, the Ruff, he is mostly fire based and physical based. The Might, you've seen what he does. He does his physical attacks and occasional fire attacks. And the little Bighorn, he has a couple buffs, like raises attack power, raises magic attack power, raises defense, then a lot of physical attacks. Not as many fire attacks as I thought. He only has like 1 or 2 actually. Oh well. But anyways, back to the Bartender here. Let's see. Yeah, he's got a couple support attacks and a pretty good set of physical and dark attacks. So he's not too bad. He doesn't have the greatest attack speed, but he's got a good movement speed and good stats overall. So he's reasonably worth it. Let's see, the Sword Boar. He's kind of the opposite, or maybe not the opposite. He's a little better. He's a better version of the Rhino. He has pretty decent movement speed at 3, so average, I guess. But he also has a 2 attack speed, so it's not that great. But he does have good attack and defense. and magic defense, and evasion too. Actually, all of his stats except for his magic attack are pretty good, but he's pretty much all physical attack. He has a couple magical attacks, but you're not going to be using magical attacks to this guy because his magical attacks, well, it's not great. It's either 155 or 173 at the third form, depending on which path you take. So he's actually not that bad. He has a slightly slow attack speed, but he has the moves to make up for it, so that's not too bad. I'd say he's reasonably worth it. Let's see who else we got. We got the Infant. This guy is kind of like the Rhino born, that he has very slow attack speed and movement speed at 2 each. He actually has a 1 attack speed when you first get him, so he's very slow at attacking when you first get him, but he gets up to the 2nd star by his final forms. So he has very good attack and defense, and actually a pretty good magic attack, between 260 and 280, so that's not too bad. Actually, all of his stats are pretty good now that I look at him. So yeah, this guy, if he can get over the slow, the slow physical attacks and movement speeds, he'll actually work out pretty well. You just got to watch out for the slowness of him. See, he has a pretty good selection of attacks. He's got physical. He's got a few water attacks, and depending on which final form you take, he'll either have storm attacks or fire attacks to supplement those. So yeah, if you can get past the low attack speed, then you'll be good to go. But because he has so many good tricks, he's actually not that bad for just avoiding the attack speed and going for, well, his tricks then. Not bad. Alright, let's see. We got the Clever Cub. This guy is pretty good, actually. He's got a very fast attack speed, or not attack speed, movement speed. He's got a 5-star movement speed, so that means he's going to be dashing around the frickin' battlefield pretty much. So he'll be running around real fast. And he's got a 4 in the attack speed, so that's pretty good. He doesn't have the greatest offensive stats, low 200s for both, but that's not too bad either. He's not very good on the defense, though, so you got to watch out for that. But he does have pretty good evade, so that's not too bad. For attacks, he has a couple physicals, and he has some support moves in his final form, like buffing attack and blinding the enemy, but nothing too great. So this guy, if you want to use him, he's definitely useful for straight up physical attacker that just gets over to the enemy fast and knocks him out. So he's not too bad. Let's see, Thumblelemur. This guy, of course, I like him. He's good. He's got a 4 movement speed and 4 attack speed for all his forms, so that's good. He has his raising his attack. He has physical attacks. He has acceptable magic attack, but nothing great. He's very good with evasion, obviously, and tolerable defenses. He's not too bad. Depending on which form you go to, he'll either specialize more in doing offensive magic in his 3rd form, or doing a couple bit of healing magics in his 3rd form. So he can do either one of those. So obviously he's going to be worth it for, well, a while. Now let's see what else we got. We got Aquatica. Let's see, we got Danglerfish. He's another one of those slow attack speed, slow movements, but has pretty good physical attack and defense. Unlike the other guys, though, he kind of has a very sad magic attack. Barely in the low hundreds, like the low 100s actually, so that's pretty low. He does... Actually, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and say straight out, he's probably not worth it because he has very low evasion, very low accuracy, very low magic attack. He has good defenses, I guess. I guess he'd make a halfway decent tank, and he has a good physical attack. But other than that, he can't use most of the water moves he gets because his magic attack is just sad. Yeah, so he's not great. He does have a move called Soul Shield, which increases his magic defense. So I guess you could use him as like a magic tank. But he's not really... Yeah, I don't think he's really too worth it. Oh well. Sorry, buddy. Let's see. Tiddlywink. He's got average attack speeds, average movement speeds. He definitely has a higher focus on his magical attack, which is in the low 300s. Pretty average defenses, but he can only equip headgear, scales, and apparently 2 slots for scales. So I don't think he can equip a weapon anyway. So I guess he's more of a tank. Let's see, or just a straight up magical attacker, I guess. Let's see, he can do boosting moves. He can do a few healing moves, and then obviously his water moves. So he's not too bad if you just want someone for water attacks and buffing up your other party members. But on his own, he's only really good at the magical attacks. So if that's what you want, go for it. If not, you might want to look for somebody else. Let's see, who else we got here? Aves. Alrighty. Minor Bird. This guy is not too bad. He's kind of like the Thumblelemur in the fact that he has 4 attack speed and 4 movement speed, so he runs around pretty fast and he attacks reasonably fast. Let's see, he has very average stats all around. He can do reasonably decent damage with physical attacks or magical attacks. He has a pretty good evasion and accuracy, and tolerable but not great defenses. So he's not too bad. He has a lot of physical attacks, a couple magical attacks, but not really too many. He has, let's see, he has a very few support attacks, like what is that? Pick me up. Like increasing movement speed, or petrifying an enemy, or raising your attack power. But he's mainly all about the physical attacks, so he's not too bad. He's not great, but for a bird, he's pretty good. And if you manage to get some magical attacks on him, his magical attack will do decent damage. Not great damage, but decent. So I'd say he's worth it. Let's see, Crowhawk. How you doing, buddy? Let's see, Crowhawk, he has pretty good movement speed of 3, and then attack speed of 4. He has slightly lower stats than the Minor Bird, except he has higher by a little bit evasion and higher by a little bit magic attack, and slightly lower physical attack. So let's see. He has some pretty good physical attacks, and despite having a halfway decent magical attack, he doesn't really have too many magical attacks himself. He does have a few storm attacks. That's pretty much it. And he has, let's see, not really a whole lot, actually. He's not bad, he's just doesn't have a whole lot in the way it moves. But he's not bad, though. He's not great. I guess if you want to use him, you can try to find a use for him. But like I said, he's got mostly the same stats as the Minor Bird, except slightly worse physical attack and slightly higher magical attack. So you could probably find a use for him. I'm probably not going to use him. Oh well. Plus, I do like his mohawk, though. That is pretty nice. But anyways, let's go for the Sleepy Fowls here. These guys definitely have higher magical attacks than they do, well, physical attacks. They also have very high accuracy stats, so their attacks are going to go in pretty well. They are rocking only 3 attack speed, 3 movement speed, so that's not too great. But then again, they are magical attackers like the P. No, not the P. What is that damn thing? The Sprite. So definitely focus more on magical attacks. Actually, they appear to be focused more on support attacks, like putting enemies to sleep, blinding them, slowing them down. And then only a few, like, actually, that's kind of weird. They don't learn any actual attacks until their second form, now that I look at it. So they have some storm, and then either water or fire, depending on which evolution for the third one you take. But they also are going to have stuff like boosting your stats or lowering their enemy stats. So he's more of a buff you guys, and then get out and let somebody else do the rest of the work. So he's not too bad for that purpose. Alright, Drago. Hang on. Alright, Drago. As you've seen from what he has very decent magical attacks. And pretty good defenses, actually. Not great, but they're good enough to let him survive a few hits. The rest of his stats aren't really all that great. He has tolerable physical attack, but he only ends up with an attack speed of 3 and a movement speed of 2, so he'll probably spend most of his time trying to waddle around to an enemy to actually get to attacking him. So he's definitely going to stick with the magical attacks that he's going to be doing. Let's see. He doesn't have very good evasion or accuracy, unfortunately, so that's kind of sad. He does have a very good selection of healing moves, storm moves, healing moves and storm moves. And he also has a few water moves, if you depending on which of the evolution paths you take him on. So he's definitely a magical attacker if you want something like that on your team. Let's see. You, Griffey. Okay, I think I have your data here somewhere, buddy. Okay, Griffey. He is, like I said, I think I mentioned it before. He's actually good for the early game, and then he kind of tapers off towards the end. He's not bad towards the later game. It's just other familiars are going to do a better job. And he only maxes out at level 29 on his 3rd form. But let's see. He has pretty good physical attack, pretty good defense. Okay magic attack. Nothing really good, though. Pretty bad magical defense. And pretty average evasion and accuracy. Let's see, he also, for his attacks, he has a lot of physical attacks, and then, depending on which form you go for him, he'll either have fire attacks or water attacks. So this guy, he'll probably stick around for the early parts of the game, maybe about midway through the game, and then we'll be able to switch him out for somebody better. But he's actually pretty nice, though, just to look at. I don't think any other familiar, well, it looks like a griffin, so that's nice. He's going to be worth holding on to for a few hours at least, but eventually he will be outclassed. Alright, let's see what else we got. We got Minima. Oh, these guys. Florets. Florets, like I've said before, they're pretty good. They can equip swords, they can equip headgear, and they can equip fangs. They'll also end up with 4 attack speed and 4 movement speed, so they'll be reasonably fast, like the Thumbleamer. So they're pretty good like that. They have pretty good stats, pretty good physical attack, pretty good defense, a slightly higher magical attack than they do physical attack, and same thing with the magical defense. I'm sorry, slightly higher magical attack than they do physical attack. I think I said that wrong. And a slightly higher magical defense than physical defense. But still, it's not that much of a difference, and both of them are pretty good. Pretty average evasion and accuracy, slightly higher than normal, but nothing great. These guys are just going to be physical attackers for the most part, and they also have some storm moves. So these guys are pretty good, very good for physical attacks and storm damage if you need storm damage. So I'd recommend these guys. Let's see, Rabots. Rabots have, let's see, 3 movement speed and 4 attack speed. Pretty good magical attack, pretty good evasion, pretty good accuracy, and average everything else. As for their moves, they've got a pretty wide variety. It's mostly physical for the first 2 forms, and then they have either dark or water tricks for their 3rd forms, depending on which path you take them down. I'd probably say the Florets are a little better, but the rabbits certainly aren't bad. They're pretty good, actually. So if you want to use them, go ahead. They're not going to hinder your ability to kill stuff. Let's see. How about the Tykes? Let's see. These guys, not bad. They have 3 magical attack, or 3 magical attack. 3 movement speed and 3 attack speed, so they're pretty average on that. Pretty decent attack and very high accuracy, actually. Very high accuracy, average evasion, and decent magic attack. If you, depending on which path you take him on, they're either going to specialize in storm magic, but he'll have slightly lower magical attack, or water magic and a couple heals, and slightly higher magical attack. Yeah, they're not bad. I'm probably not going to use them. If I was going to use anybody, I'd use like the Florit or whoever that other guy was that I was talking about. The other Millite. But these guys aren't bad. I mean, they're not great. Honestly, a lot of the familiars in the game aren't bad, and you can probably use them, but some are just a little better than others, so that's why I'm doing this. I mean, you could use whoever you wanted and still do pretty good, but some are slightly better than others. Alright, let's go. Turbandit. He's pretty fast, actually. He's got pretty good movement speed, average attack speed. He definitely focuses more on magical attack than he does on physical attack. And then his other stats are in the mid-200s, so nothing bad, actually. But he definitely has a higher magical attack in the upper 300s. And he's mostly going to focus on fire magic attacks and storm magic attacks. So yeah, if you want a good magic attacker, this guy would do pretty good. He runs around pretty fast, and he hits pretty hard with his good magic stat. So I like him. Let's see, who else we got here? We got Small Fry. This guy's probably not worth it. He has good movement speed and good attack speed at 4 each, but he has pretty low overall stats. I mean, let's see, his defenses are really low. His magical attack and physical attack are average at best. His magical attack is slightly higher than his physical attack, but he's still not going to be doing a whole lot of damage with either one. So, I guess if you really want a fire attacker, you could use him, because he learns mostly fire spells, but yeah, he's not really that great. Does he even have any good support moves? No, he has a grand total of 2 support moves, neither one of which is all that good. So yeah, I wouldn't go for him, I guess. Now, how about somebody a little better then, like Spitoo? Let's see. He starts off with 3 attack, 3 speed, and eventually he'll end up at 4 attack, and 4 movement speed. And he has slightly higher magical attack. Very good accuracy. He's not bad, actually. He's not. With the attack stat he has, which is either 246 or 260, depending on which path you take, he'll do pretty good physical damage, and he'll do pretty decent magical damage. Let's see, he also has fire spells and either water or storm spells, depending on which path you take him down at the end. Yeah, he's not good. He's average. He's certainly acceptable. He's certainly a lot better than the Small Fry, that's for sure. So he's not too bad, I guess. Let's see, do we have any we don't have any automata, okay. Flora, okay, we got some Flora, if I can find him here. Actually, we can't get the Lumberwood yet, so I'm going to ignore him for just right now. He's actually pretty good, though, but we'll go over him when we actually have a chance to catch him. Let's see, Bud. How you doing, Bud? He's definitely a magical attacker with very average other stats and very low physical attacks. He focuses a lot on healing. He's kind of like the, what is it? He's kind of like the Naiad that Solomon offered you, in the fact that he has a lot of healing spells at his disposal. So he's definitely going to keep you alive. He'll, let's see, what does Razzle Dazzle do again? I forget. He'll inflict a couple status ailments on the enemies, but for the most part, he'll be keeping you alive, if anything. His third forms will either focus a little more on defending tricks, like one that reduces your magical damage taken, or one that reduces your physical damage taken, or it'll focus more on light attacks that do light damage. So either way, if you need somebody to keep you alive, this guy will definitely be here for, well, keeping you alive. So he's not too bad. Don't look at him for attacking though, because, well, he does not learn any actual attacks except for his third form. So, oh well. Yeah, he'll definitely heal you and heal you good. So he's definitely someone to keep in mind. Let's see, but Babanas. These guys are the slow movement speed, slow attack speed, high offense, high defense type of guys. So good physical attack, good physical defense, pretty tolerable magic attack, and okay magic defense. Not really great evasion or accuracy, but not really horrible. They're definitely physical attackers. Definitely physical attackers. And let's see, during their third forms, yeah, still physical attackers. So if you need a nice, slow physical attacker with a pretty good attack stat, and he's gonna soak up damage pretty well, this guy's not too bad. He's not the best, but he'll do. But he doesn't have a whole lot besides just straight up walloping things, taking a hit. All right, how about Mr. Napcap? Aha, Napcaps. These guys have very good movement speeds and very good attack speeds at 4 each. Let's see. If you depending on which path you take them on, you can either have one that's has a higher movement speed of 5 movement speed, and let's see, fire spells and a couple healing spells. Or you could have the same attack speed and the same movement speed at 4 stars and focus more on healing spells than damage. So again, another healer pretty much. And he does have a few support moves like blinding and poisoning. He's not bad. He's got very good magical attack. Just again, he has the case of the Babud where he has good magical attack and only really healing spells and status effect spells to use them on. So I'd say probably go for the Babud over the Napcap. I mean, they're both decent, but I'd say the Babud just has a slight higher edge. I guess the Nightcap or the Napcap does have a much higher evasion and higher accuracy. Actually, now that I look at that. So basically, do you want a slightly higher magical attack, or do you want higher evasion and accuracy? Higher magic attack, go for the Babud. Higher evasion and accuracy, go for the Napcap. Let's see, Burmese Worker Bumblers. These guys have pretty good movement speeds at 4, pretty good attack speeds at 3. They have their best stats are going to be their magic attack and their evasions, with tolerable everything else. Nothing super low on the other stats. Let's see, a lot of physical moves. And in the third form, you can either get a form that prefers to do physical attacks, or a form that prefers to do heals. And then, yeah, the one with the heals will have, let's see, not really much in the advantage stat-wise, but he does have plenty of heal spells. And the one with the physical attacks will just have, well, slightly higher physical attack and magical attack, and slightly higher stats overall, but he can't do any healing. So you got to choose which one you want for this guy. Let's see, Whippersnapper. Whippersnapper's okay, but he's kind of he's more of a tank than an attacker, and that's reflective in his equipment pool, because you can only equip shields, patches, and patches. Or actually, I'm not sure if that's patches or scales, but either way, he's definitely a tank type, and he has tricks that reduce damage, physical damage, and magical damage. He has a few physical attacks, but he doesn't really have that great of physical attack stat to use them with. He does have some heal spells on the later forms. Actually, one of those heal spells actually is a revive spell, so that's nice. Actually, looking at it, one form has the revive spell, and the other form has several healing spells and then a few status effects. So, yeah, he's not that great, I guess. I mean, if you need someone kind of tanky that can heal, I guess, but there's better familiars for that than this guy. What about the Ouroboros? He is pretty average in all his skills, actually. Nothing stand out. His magical attack is slightly higher than his physical attack, and he has decent evasion, but nothing really all that great. He has a lot of support moves. Let's see. Blinding. Speed increasing. Poisoning. A few storm moves. Actually, one storm move. Depending on which path you take him on, he'll either have dark attacks or healing attacks. Yeah, he's not all that great, though. He's got a pretty decent movement speed at 4 at the max level, but he starts off with a 2 movement speed, and then it kind of works his way up to there. Not bad, but not really my preferred type there. Let's see, Incy. Incy is a tank. He has pretty good defense and pretty good magic defense, pretty good physical attack. He can't equip any weapons, though. He only has armor, scales, and patches. Let's see, pretty good support moves with blinding, a couple of attack tricks, a couple healing moves. He's not too bad. He's probably the better of the defensive healer tanks than the Ouroboros there. Let's see, and then for this guy, Flutterby. Let's see. He has, where are you, dude? Pretty good attack speed and average movement speed. And then he has average stats with evasion and accuracy being the highest. Evasion's in the high 400 or low 400s, and accuracy is in the low to high 300s. And then magic attack is in the mid to high 200s. Not really anything on the physical attack and physical defense, but magical defense is good. He has either light-based attacks or dark-based attacks, and then a couple storm-based attacks. So he's going to be specializing in one of those. I'll probably drop him off sooner rather than later. It's not that he's bad, it's just I prefer some of the other guys. Alright, Nymphe. Alright, we got the Seed Sprite. And as you know, the Seed Sprite, he has pretty good movement speed, pretty meh attack speed, pretty meh attack, very good magic attack, magic defense, pretty good evasion, healing spells, can put some people to sleep, can blind some people. He actually gets a pretty good AoE healing spell that heals everybody, healing rain, so that's really nice. He's definitely going to be worthwhile for that. He eventually becomes really fast in his 3rd form, so that's, again, really nice. And then he'll learn water tricks in either of his final forms, so those are both going to be pretty good. So he's definitely worth it. There's also the Naiad that you could have chosen over at Solomon's. I'm going to go ahead and go over him right now just because you could have chosen him. He's a slightly slower movement speed version of the Sprite, but he has a higher attack speed, even though he's not going to be doing a lot of attacking, especially since he only equips cloaks, patches, and medals. Better magic attack, better magic defense, lower evasion, slightly higher accuracy, and slightly lower defenses. But yeah, he's all about healing and supporting. Yeah, he has the same AoE healing spells too. Honestly, between the two for healers, I'd probably say the Lagoon Naiad is better because you don't really need to move around to heal. You can target from pretty much anywhere, but either one is going to do really good for you. Let's see, we got Dracoons. These guys. Alright, Nahas. They're average attack or average movement speed at 3, but they also got a nice 4 for the attack speed. They have very good physical attack, pretty good physical defense, and well, pretty good everything, actually. They have pretty good stats overall. Their magic attacks are acceptable. Their lowest stat is probably their magic defense, but even that's not too bad. They can do a lot of debuffs type of stuff, like poisoning, or lowering attack, or petrifying. They have a few water attacks, or a few storm attacks, depending on which evolution path you take, but they really do focus a lot on the status effects there. They don't have as many physical attacks as I thought they did. But for straight up just like attack speed and attack power, it's pretty good. So I definitely recommend them. And what about teenyboppers? Actually, teenyboppers are also pretty good. They have pretty good attack stats. Not as good as the Naha, but still pretty good. Let's see. About the same defenses. Slightly lower magical attacks, but not too much lower. Slightly lower magical defenses. Higher evasion. And higher accuracy. But they also get more attack-oriented moves to use the stats with, whereas Naha gets more support moves. He'll do... Let's see, he has some storm attacks. He has a couple debuffing attacks in his second form. And then, depending on which form you take him to, he'll either have storm attacks or dark attacks. And he'll also have a slightly higher movement speed than the Naha. So, either one of these dragons is pretty good, actually. Let's see, what else we got here? I don't think we have too many... Oh, I guess we have these guys. I didn't realize you guys were here. Okay, let's see. Sunshine. Average movement speed, below average attack speed. Slightly higher magical attack than a physical attack, but the physical attack is still pretty good. Pretty decent defenses. Specializes in fire magic, obviously. He can also do some curing and some buffing, but not really a whole lot. I'd say he's not really all that great, because like I said, he has a good magic attack, or good attack and good magic attack, but not really good attack speed. So he's not great. He's not bad, but I probably wouldn't go for him. Let's see, the Pom Pom. Pretty good attack speed, but he's more focused on magical attack. Pretty average movement speed. Let's see. He's kind of a debuffer, kind of with the poisoning and the defense is down. He has a few magical attacks. He's not really all that great. It's not horrible, but you can find better. Let's see, Hullabaloo. Hullabaloo. He has very good magic defense. Pretty good defense. And average everything else. Has a lot of storm type attacks. And either fire attacks or water attacks, depending on which evolution path you take. He only equips armor, scales, and metals, so he's a defensive type. Well, obviously, because he has good defensive stats. So he's again more of a tank type. He doesn't have any healing though, so he's not going to stay alive with. He's not going to stay alive by himself unless somebody else comes in there and heals for him. But he's not too bad for a tank, I guess. Let's see, Munier. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Back in the Arcana section, we also could have talked about the Shunky Honker, which is one of the choices we could have got from, what is it, Solomon. So he has pretty good, okay, he has pretty good attack speed at 4, but his movement speed actually goes down when he evolves from 3 to 2. So he's very good in the attack speed, but not so great on the movement speed. But then again, he also has the highest magic attack stat in the game, or one of the highest magic attack stats in the game, when you evolve into his third form. And he has plenty of moves to use them with. Actually, never mind. No, he doesn't. He has a couple healings, a couple lights, and a confusion trick, a sleep trick, a light attack. Huh. Now that I look at it, his magic attack is kind of going to waste with his move pool. He does have a few attacks, but they're not really all that great. You could actually teach attacks to familiars through gems that we don't have yet, but without those, he's not going to be doing all that great. But if you get those, then it'll turn out much better. But oh well, he's not bad though. All right. Anyways, let's go to this guy, the Light Shade. Very average stats all around, with magic defense being the highest and magic attack probably being the second highest. Has a lot of support attacks with debuffs. He learns a decent variety of elemental stuff. He learns one dark, a couple physical moves, a couple storm moves, or a couple dark moves. He's kind of... No, he's probably not really all that worth it. Just not a whole lot of good moves to choose from. And very average stats, so he's probably not really worth it. Oh well, sorry guy. Alright, Shrimp Paler. This guy has a 3 movement speed, so not great, but he also has a 5 attack speed, so he'll be attacking stuff really fast, all over the place. Let's see, for his physical attack's not great, but when you're attacking as often as he is, he'll be doing plenty of damage with it. His other stats aren't all that good, though. He has very low defenses, and very average everything else. A lot of physical attacks, a lot of fire attacks. Depending on which form you choose to take him on, he'll either specialize in dark attacks to attack people, or he'll specialize in healing attacks for you. So it's kind of a weird combination with a very high attack speed and healing magic, but oh well. Yeah, he's probably really not worth it in the long run, actually. I mean, you can still use them, but you probably find better. Anyways, the Bugly, let's see, this guy, pretty good movement speed. He'll eventually have a slightly higher attack speed than what he has now, which is 3 stars, so eventually he'll be at 4 stars. But for now, he's just at 3 in his first form. He has a pretty good variety of magic. He'll have Fire and Storm for the first two forms. He'll have his magic boosting trick. He'll have, when he gets to his third forms, he'll either focus more on dark and fire attacks with a few storm attacks, or he'll focus on storm attacks and healing attacks. So either one's going to be pretty good. Pretty decent magical attacks and magic defense, and pretty decent everything else except for his defense. So he's pretty good. He's one that you can stick around with for a little while. Alright, what about you guys? I don't think we have any of these guys. Or we do. Okay, never mind. I keep saying I don't think we have any, and then we do. Let's see. Oh, Bonehead. Yeah, this guy, he's not worth it unless you specifically go for the Bone Baron. No, not you. He's not really worth it unless you specifically go for the other third evolution that is not this guy, because, well, they just don't have very good stats otherwise. But if you do go for the Bone Baron, he has a pretty good physical attack, pretty good defense, pretty good magical defense, and average everything else. The Bone Baron will focus on, let's see, debuffing enemies and physical attacks. Actually, they all kind of focus on debuffing enemies and physical attacks. They're not. If you're not going for the Bone Baron, don't really bother for it, because their stats just aren't really worth it otherwise. Let's see, do we have any Nobilious here? Oh, I don't think we can even talk about these guys because, well, eventually there are going to be Nobilious that you can tame, but I guess these guys are all bosses. I didn't realize they were classified as Nobilia. Huh, you learn something new every day. I thought they would have just been classified as bosses. Well, okay, there we go. There are the familiars. Well, described that we have right now. Obviously, I didn't do a great job of it, and that actually took a lot longer than I thought it would. But it's just to give you a general idea. But like I said, most of them you can use pretty much whoever you want, and you'll do reasonably good at them. Some are going to be slightly better than others. slightly better than others. I'm probably not going to change my team up yet, but eventually I'll change it up to other familiars and be doing more with it. But that'll wait just a little bit longer. But anyways, next time, guys, we're going to head out to Castaway Cove and, well, try to go find this, what are we doing anyways? I just know we got to go to Castaway Cove for something. Do we got to find another Great Sage? Is that what it is? Yeah, we'll find out next time. So guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.